Tag and bienvenidos, listeners, and welcome to Uber Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives. I'm Brian Ernst, your congested host for today's festivities, and in the den today are unfortunately the only two contestants who agreed to be here, Mitch Brinkman and Nathan Hennenfent. Today, these dingleberries will reveal and defend their top 5 backhanded compliments, a topic submitted by listener Tristan Dean. We thank you. Our first contestant is a man that looks so great from the neck down. It's Nathan Hennenfent. How are you, sir?
I will take that. I am fine with that.
Good, because
that's what really matters, right? Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you.
Oh man,
a classic butterface. That's what makes it.
And his challenger, who really is quite funny in his own way, it's Mitch Brinkman. How are you, sir?
Now, I am a literal butterface. I love smearing butter on my cheeks every morning. Keeps the glow and the acne right where it is. So it's very nice. But thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm ready to play hard. And I'm going to do this for TD. That's for you, buddy. So
for Tim Duncan?
No, Tristan Dean. TD. Oh. He's just a great guy, and I'm playing for him today. So.
Wow, you are.
Well, that confused me. I know Tristan, and I've never heard him referred to by any nickname. And that reminded me of when I met Scottie Pippen last week, and the guy behind me kept referring to him as SP. Scotty, it's like nobody is not then, not now, not in the future. Scottie Pippen's never been called SP, and this guy referred to him as SP for an hour and 45 minutes in my ear. And now I'll never think of Scottie Pippen as anything else but
Did
SP.
You punch this boy?
And you sure...
I wanted to. He did give Scottie Pippen his number when he finally got up there because he thought he could help him with a business deal because he was in the billboard business.
Oh,
God,
and then he asked me, when he was writing his number down, he asked me how to spell billboard.
Well, did you get us a billboard deal? I mean, we got to start advertising.
I really should have, but I was so mad about the whole SP thing that I just stormed out.
Don't worry,
there.
we'll call Scotty's people, get the number, and it'll circle back.
Yeah.
And if y'all want to get blown to the moon, make sure you head on over to bizbear.biz to submit your suggestions and questions for upcoming shows. We actually have a question this week from listener Alex Lovingood. And maybe Nathan will be able to answer this. Did Nathan ever live in London, is what Alex is asking. Is this a true statement? Did this happen?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a great question.
Just to answer in the interest of completeness and fullness, sure. I will now tell about 750 stories that go nowhere from when I lived in London.
Well, if people want to listen to those 750 stories, all they have to do is listen to a previous episode of Uber Cinco. Go on back. All right. And if you are new to the den, welcome, and let us wake you up with a quick rundown of the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Uber Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
And as a reminder, don't forget to stick with us until the end of the show, where I, Brian Ernst, will give you my Fast 5 send-off, where I'll rattle off the definitive list of the top 5 worst places for your car to break down. Ooh. And finally, as host, I'm entitled to institute a house rule for today's game. 2 points to whomever rattles my cage with the most insulting backhanded compliment. So do your worst, gentlemen.
I think I'm gonna concede that I'm not gonna win that.
Mitch knows how to get.
No, Nathan, what are you talking about? You're great at coming up with stuff. Sorry, that was good.
Sarcastic. That was good. Mitch, you unfortunately lost the pre-show PA request where you ordered us green olive and ricotta pizza. So as punishment, you lost your home court advantage. advantage, and you must go first. So,
yes,
you're number 5, sir.
Thank you, Turtle from Entourage. I'm pretty sure Turtle or that. No, actually, this is just going to turn into insults now. I have to stop that. That's not the
I think I'm actually dressed nicer than Turtle ever was on Entourage. This is Reebok, bitch.
Okay, but my number 5 here, the literal backhanded compliment. I call this the door holder's surprise. And this happens to me more often than I would like it to. But it's a compliment, but also it brings me up and then puts me right back into place again. And that's when someone's holding a door open for me, I walk in first. A lot of people will give me a backhanded spank and then say, "Nice ass, buddy." And I appreciate it because I do my squats. But at the same time, I feel like a piece of meat as well, and not one that's cooked nicely, like a steak that's left to boil and then, char in the broiler and forgotten. So again, thank you for the ass compliment. Don't love just like the light salt at the same time. Also, a backhanded slap to the ass. Sometimes you can get some really old knobby knuckles, going on your keister. That's not that comfortable. So if
what was the title of this?
The door holder's surprise. I never know it's coming, surprise. And then whoosh, nice ass, buddy. And everyone says nice ass, buddy. No matter if they're 21 or if they're 82, everyone in between, nice ass, buddy. And it's weird. It's so weird. So, but I got a nice butt, I guess. My rump has the junk. So that's my number 5.
Wow. How often does this happen?
That's weird because.
Oh, this has happened, I don't know, more than once, so.
So twice, at least.
Maybe more, who knows?
This was actually going to be the number 4 on next week's episode for me when we do our top 5 sexual positions you've never heard of. The door holder surprise. I was going to tell the story about how in college I met a woman at a bar and went back to her dorm and she introduced me to the door holder surprise. Well, I don't want to ruin it for next week. So
save it for the pod.
Tune in next week, folks.
Yeah, so maybe I should have called this the nice ass, buddy. So that's my number 5. I feel good, and I feel like I have to thank them at the same time, and that's not nice. So it's not always a great way to enter a building, or leave.
Yeah, I think it's a better way to enter, a horrible way to leave.
Thank you.
Moving on to Nathan's number 5. See if you can top that ass.
Well, mine's in the realm of physical compliments as well. This is the "you look great," ... or the "you look great." Like, for instance, I got this yesterday. Today happens to be, as you both mentioned before we started recording, this is my 35th birthday. We're recording this.
Today's your birthday? Whoa, happy birthday. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Okay.
But yesterday, like I told somebody that it was going to be my birthday today, and they said, "Oh, happy birthday!" And they said, "How old are you going to be?" And I said, 35. And a kind of strange pause and moment of reflection came over their face, and they said, 35? Oh, well, you look great. So I'm apparently and it was somebody younger than me. And so it was like, so I'm at an age where looking even reasonable is a total bonus and no longer expected of me. So great. And this is also like, you look great. You lost weight. You look great. That means I thought you were fat. Oh, you gained some weight. That's it. I thought you were a weak, pathetic, skinny, prepubescent sixth grader who needed to fill out. Somebody, just has a kid, they've gone through the trials of pregnancy. Oh, you look great. It's just, there's a thing of condescension. It just never means like, oh, you look great. Let me come over here. Let me give you a
nice
squeeze.
Ass, buddy.
It's not any, it's not a nice ass, buddy. It's not as sincere. So I think we've all at some point had somebody be on the receiving end of this that we know or care about, where, oh, you look great. And when you get really old, like not 35 old, but like somebody who's like 90 and they're like, oh, he's 90. Well, they look great for 90. And I'm like, does anybody really look that great at 90? You know, it just, do they? Do they? I think the weirdest one, though, do you ever hear this at a funeral? I've heard this at a funeral. Like
they look great considering they're dead. Open casket.
The
they'll
dead
be
person?
like, yeah, they'll be like, oh, well, they look so at peace or something. And I've heard this.
That's because they got 4 inches of makeup on their face. It's all fucking silly putty.
They look restful, or that's another one when you're alive. Even you look well rested. It's like, well, what do I normally just look like? I've been up for 3 straight days at the blackjack table. Like,
yes,
which maybe I was, but yeah,
you're sleeping for health now, not depression. That's great. That's very good.
Oh man,
my favorite is when someone's like, "Oh, that shirt's awesome. It distracts from your hair. You look great." And you're like, "Oh shit, son of a bitch." Okay, thanks.
Just have to be a really bright colored shirt for you to be wearing the day you got that compliment.
Well, this is a solid start to this list, boys. I think I'm going to give 3 points all around because one, we got to talk about Mitch's tuckus. And then Nathan, oh, poor Nathan, talking about these dead people that you're told they look so great.
It was weird. I swear I've heard it at multiple funerals. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever heard.
My favorite is you look great considering you're dead. That is such a great phrase. Oh, all right, Mitch, back to you for your number 4.
I call this the comedy career. And you guys know me in years past did the whole improv Second City thing, yada yada, and when people who don't know what it is or don't don't really know you, and they're like, oh, so how's your stand-up going? And of course you're like, it's not stand-up, it is improv, which you do as a group. It's group mind, it's listening, it's reacting, it's in the moment. Stand-up is all, pre-written, and they're like, I'm so glad you're enjoying, your jokes and stuff. And you're like, it's not jokes. I am in the moment. I am inhabiting a character. I am a believable person up on stage. I'm not just, reciting some shit I wrote. Like, oh, that's so good. Yeah. Oh, when who you should take over for? You should take over for Conan. When are you going to take over for Conan? You're like, that's a different medium. It's improv is just vital. You can never watch it a second time.
I think the word you're looking for is worse. Worse is the word you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone, it's worse when you're doing it. You're obviously like, this sucks the whole time. But then also part of this is when you meet friends of friends, and like maybe they all went to a college where they're like, everyone's like business majors or whatever. And then they're like, oh, our one buddy, Ryan, he's an accountant, but he's been doing Second City or stand-up or whatever. He's hilarious. Like you guys should like, you're both so funny. You should do comedy together. And you're like, yeah, I don't know Ryan. He's an accountant. He's probably not that funny. And then you meet Ryan, and then Ryan's like, oh yeah, I'm in level 2 of Second City, and and you're like, oh, what are some of your inspirations? I mean, honestly, like Billy Madison, honestly, is up there. At that, I'm like, fuck this. And then I'm just like, I gotta go, guys. They don't remember the next time either. Maybe they don't really care either. And, no, it's not going that great because it's goddamn improv.
We've talked about that.
So that's my number 4.
We've talked about that a lot, especially with Nathan. Nathan is not the biggest fan of improv, nor are most people, because to see a good improv show, you have to go to 15 shows, one of which will be really, really good. And of the people who are of the top caliber doing it, it's really hard to find those people. Your TJs and Daves, your Susan Messings, your Blaine Svens. To find those people, it's really hard. The classes, the Herald classes, where you have to watch like the Herald. Oh my God, and there's like 5 of them in a row.
The Herald being, for people who don't know, Herald's a very unique discipline of improv, if discipline is indeed a word that can be used with improv.
Yes, it is.
It's very long form.
Yes.
Right? Am I right, Mitch?
there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's like 3 story lines that go through it with 3 scenes per storyline. So it's, you have to remember.
Yeah, it's usually a beginning, a middle, and when will this end? Yes.
Well,
sounds like
you guys
sounds like all the hilarity, the hilarious action of sitting still and paying attention. Yes.
You guys were so nice to come and cheer me on also too when you guys watched it. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that.
I actually think about it. I don't think I knew you when you were actually doing stuff on stage there. Like you were kind of like
No, I definitely knew you. You never came to anything I invited you to.
You never invited me to anything.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did.
I think you gave me an invite to While My Keytar Gently Sleeps like a day before its last showing. I was like,
Oh, no, I'm talking about IO. I'm talking about improv because that wasn't improv. That was sketch.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that.
It's different. It's different.
Hey,
it really
I saw Dog Party stuff, so don't even get me there.
No, that's true.
Don't even get me.
And that was good stuff.
That was good stuff.
These word salads that you're hearing, these are the things that people come up with for names of improv shows or groups. It's just whatever random collection of words you can find. That's what improv groups name their shows.
Would you believe it that we named that group? We thought of that name in under 20 seconds.
Yes.
It was first draft, no editing. First draft. Yes, good. Green lit. Let's go.
Oh man.
So,
Can you
my brother-in-law has a 90s cover band and their guitarist is named Jim, and so when they were just practicing, they're like, we'll just, like, for now, we're just going to refer to ourselves as the Jim Blossoms because that's the worst name we can come up with, but it's funny for us and we laugh about it. And then they had, like, I remember at one point I was shown a list of, like, all these potential names. They were trying to come up with a different 90s cover band name. They're still the Jim Blossoms. They played many, many shows. They have a following. They're still the Jim Blossoms.
Oh, man. Can you top improv shows, Nathan, with your number 4?
No. But I'll try.
No.
My number 4 is this is when somebody tells you you're really photogenic. It's like you show them, there's a picture of them, like, oh, this picture of you. Now this picture of you is so great. And they're looking at the picture, but then they're also 2 feet away from you, who the picture is of. And they're like, wow, this digital representation of your likeness is so much more attractive than this old sack of organic material that's standing here fully formed before me, sweating and stinking and, with his hair uncombed.
What's great about this picture is I can't smell it.
Yeah. Like, they're just people, when somebody says that your photogenic is a great picture, it's like, just the shock and surprise that you might at one point in history have been presentable. And thank God that has been saved in the art of photography for future generations to see that you actually are not always a hideous and disgusting train wreck of an example of physical appearance and personal hygiene. So yeah, that's really all I've got for my number 4. But yeah, don't say somebody's photogenic. Not nice.
Well, here's the phenomena, though, is that some people look much better in person than they do captured by a camera, and vice versa, right? That is absolutely a thing.
Yeah, that is just a compliment the other way.
But then you also that it would be like, see a picture of them and be like, oh God, like the camera really does add 10 pounds. Like that's pretty hard to point that one out.
That family portrait, you look like dog shit, but you're pretty hot here.
It'd be a great moment for those people when they go on like Tinder dates or something and their date shows up expecting like, well, here we go, another Tinder. Oh my goodness, look at you. Like just that overexcitement. I assume that would be a pattern you would catch on to eventually.
Yeah.
I almost swiped left, but now that I see you in person, I'm glad I took the risk. Yeah, you look like dog shit in the picture, but now that I see you, you're really doing it for me, all right? So, second date? Date, huh?
I think that was you during your oh God, what's his name? The asshole who lives in Vegas who wears the giant hat and teaches men how to pick up women. What's his name? Mystery?
Oh, Mystery, right?
Mystery? Who's Mystery?
Yeah.
Have you?
He's a pickup artist.
That was.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
He's the pickup artist. That was Brian's pickup artist.
He ran seminars for desperate men on how to pick up women. Very sleazy.
Oh, it was terrible. Terrible. Me and Nathan never got our money back. It was really shitty. And the lunch sucked. It was like partially frozen turkey sandwiches. No, thank you. What I will say though about photos, people do not do themselves justice with photos a lot of times. They will, I mean, you guys know this. You understand film. They don't get the light in their face. They shadow themselves.
It's true.
They have the person stand way too far back with the camera. So the photo's like 80% like, everything else except for them. It's like, you got to get tight. You got to get your angles right. You got to get your smile down, open your eyes, classically, if you're asking a question in your brain, what? You look so much better in a photo. These are just some little.
That's
tips,
how you get your blue steel. I never knew what your little mental trick was to get there.
Yeah, you just got to ask a question. That's all it is.
You just got to ask.
Well, this is we've learned a valuable lesson here for anybody who's going to do some online dating is put mediocre pictures of yourself on your profile. That way you're never going to show up and the opposite party will just be like, "Oh, really?" You're always going to be a pleasant surprise. Plus, you don't want people to have their first impression on you be completely and totally shallow. You want them to get to know the real you.
It's true.
Right?
Oh, the real you.
Right? Unless if the real you sucks, then put all the hot pictures.
I mean, yeah, because if you're a dog shit person, all right? All right, consider.
I can tell you've been working on your Andrew Dice Clay impression, and I'm loving it, Brian.
Oh, yes. All right. I'm not going to recite any of the jokes I know because I know quite a few. I'm not going to do that for our poor.
That's very cool.
Poor listeners. Shut up. All right. You know what? I was going to give you 3 points. You're getting 2 now, Mitch. You know what? Fuck you. I'm going to give Nathan the 3 points because that's what he deserves. Take us to number 3, Mitch.
Yes, of course. My number 3 is called the leftover shit souffle. And this happened like when I was younger and went to basketball tryouts for the 3rd year in a row. I'd been on the A team the first 2 years. 3rd year of AAU ball, I made the B team. And my mom said, "What? Be proud. Come on, you made the B team. You get to play basketball this year." There's no better way to just swallow all of your pride at once. So big a swallow that you almost choke yourself than to hear that. Another version of this happened again when I was cut from the high school basketball team. And the coach was like, "Well, you're a great basketball player. You understand the game, whatever. You're like the third best player out there. But you're just, you're not fast enough. You can't jump high enough. So we're going to cut you." I'm like, "Oh, okay. All right. That sucks." And I'm on my way out. He's still like, "But you know the game. You're really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, you already cut me. You don't need to keep lobbing compliments at my ass. Just hit me on the way out and say, 'Nice ass, buddy.' And let me go home and eat my feelings tonight."
I like how he's like, "You're the 3rd best player on a team of 5. I'm still cutting you to get another 3 people underneath you to be on the team instead of you."
Oh, Brian, it's not 5 people on a team. It's 12 people.
I know. I'm talking about the bare minimum just to play the game.
Okay.
You're the 3rd best, and I'm still going to pick 12 to 13 kids above you, even though you're 3rd best. Ugh.
That's how much of a sack of shit I was. So
this kid's a dog shit player. No, I'm just kidding.
my legs were dog shit. My ass was dog shit then too. It was big, but it was weak.
The leftover dog shit souffle. Oh no.
Yeah.
I remember something similar like this happened my junior year of high school during volleyball tryouts. I was like, "Oh, I'm a junior now. I'm finally going to be on varsity." So that happened. And then we went to this, blah, blah, blah. I got put on JV again. And then I went up to the coach of varsity and I was like, "Hey, there's only 2 years left of high school, blah, blah, blah. Is there any way I can retry out to really show you what I've gotten, blah, blah, blah." And her answer was like, "You know what? We could do that, but I don't want to do that and have you just be on the bench the whole season. I want you to play. So that's why you're on JV." And I was like, okay. So I think they reluctantly made me captain of JV just because of that, because I was the oldest one on the JV team.
The JV captain. That's the new nickname I'm going with for Brian.
JV captain.
Did you play senior year?
I did, and then I was varsity just because I was a senior. If they could put me on JV again, they probably would have. I was not a very fast guy.
At least you got to play. At least you got to play some volleyball that year.
I did, but I went for it. I always dove and always hurt myself every game, so at least I tried.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically the intellectual philosophy of most high school coaches, is if they see a kid diving onto the floor repeatedly to hurt themselves, that translates to, oh, this guy's great. He's so dedicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could never wear the knee pads because my chunky thighs were too thick to keep them up. So you'd pull the knee pads up and they couldn't, like, my big chunky thighs would push them down. So it's like if I dove and went to go slide on my knees, the pads would be too low anyway. So I just ditched the pads and just ruined my knees every game.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I always had Voight backwards on my arms after I got those spikes from those other guys that were a lot tougher than our team. Oh, boy. Horrible.
Nathan, do you want to tell a story about getting cut from the basketball team, like junior year or something like that? Or
I have a story, and I've been sitting here trying to hold it back because there's no way it doesn't come off as the biggest humble brag of all time.
Do it.
Since you've opened the door.
It's your birthday. Come on.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I had a pretty nice little basketball career and a local newspaper.
Oh, then it's not a career. Okay.
He was a student athlete.
Under the table. One of the local papers. Well, actually, 3 of the local papers in the area named me Player of the Year, both junior and senior year. First time that anybody had done it twice. Wow. Yeah, but this one reporter who had.
Was this from the Cornhusking Gazette, or which one was it?
This is the Monmouth Review Atlas.
Review Atlas. Okay.
And so this guy, I remember. Well, first part is he came to the school and he interviewed me in person, and we talked, and then we did the interview for the end of the year thing, and then
did his
later
pictures
we were
match like what he looked like in real life?
Well, I knew the dude my whole life, so I knew, yeah. But then I was actually at like the semifinals of the state basketball tournament watching with the rest of my team. Like we took a trip over to watch the finals, and my coach gets a call on his cell phone and passes it over to me, and it's this guy, and he asks me all the same questions again. And I'm like, did you lose your notes? Like, what's going on? But anyways, both years, junior and senior year, he always used the word quietly when he was describing me. Like, I was just selected as the outstanding player, and I was really proud, and it was a big moment for me. I'd worked really hard to get there. And he's like, Nathan Hennenfent quietly led the Roseville Yorkwood Bearcats. He quietly achieved this. I was like, I was fucking electrifying, goddammit! Nothing I did was quiet. Like I was a fairly soft-spoken kid when I was in high school.
Oh,
but then all of a sudden I was like on the court. I considered myself like some cross between Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, and but apparently apparently I did things quietly. So yeah, quietly. But anyways, that was a thank you for on my birthday allowing me to sneak in this story about the glory days and how good I was at a sport literally 17, 18 years ago.
I believe it was like,
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Were you a vocal leader on the court, or did you just lead by example through your play?
Probably more through example. Okay. But I liked actually, never mind.
What's that?
There was one thing.
Take another sip off your cocktail and keep telling the story.
There was one thing I did pregame before the final last huddle. I like to come in and I would spew the longest, most profanity and violent tirade I could possibly come up with about the opposing team right before we started, like to the teammates in the huddle. Yeah. And I can't remember who it was. It was either my mom or a teacher or somebody. came up to me after a game and they were like, you really need to do that a little quieter because everybody heard you. And that was appalling. So I had that little moment.
Nathan Hennenfent quietly reamed out the other team by screaming at the top of his lungs.
You guys can go fuck all the way off because I'm going to come and take your lunch money and I'm going to dunk all over your stupid fucking asses.
I believe that rant was fully printed on the front page of the Cornhole Gazette. So everyone could look that one up. Nathan, I believe you take us to your number 3.
All right. This is, hey, you are really great at this menial or horrible task involved in the job that we are all trying to do. And this is usually something that it comes from when you start a new job, and it's a bit of a there's a bit of menace behind it because somebody else doesn't want to do this thing, and so they're like, oh, you're really great at if it's maybe you're the person who has to answer the phone at this company, and you're gonna have a lot of angry customers like, oh, you handled that so well, or maybe if you're working on the farm, like, man, this guy can really shovel some shit with the best of them, can he? Oh, look at him shovel that shit. He's a great shit shoveler. And then they try to build you up so you start taking pride in it. So then you're like volunteering to do it. And the next thing you know, you're just the guy who shovels shit for the next 10 years of your life. You're just shoveling shit. You're like, how did this happen? Everybody else is doing things that are not shoveling shit. And here I am shoveling shit, or whatever the proverbial shoveling shit is at your job. Somebody had complimented you. You were insecure because of your first day and you're trying to get better and make a good mark on everybody around you. So you took pride in it. You got good at it. You're stuck with it. So watch out for this one. If you're good at something, if somebody compliments you on doing something that you hate doing, stop doing that thing. Only bad things await.
This actually reminds me of a quote by Jay Baruchel in the movie She's Out of My League. Yeah, he is a TSA agent, and the woman introduces him as somebody who's in aviation. And he was like, I'm in aviation, like the guy who shovels shit at the carnivals in show business. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. Oh, which is so sad. I'm so sorry that you went from quietly taking over courts to being this guy. Is this you? Is this you being this guy? Who's complimented you on something you've done? Shoveled. What shit have you shoveled that someone's complimented you on?
I've shoveled my fair share of shit.
We have all shoveled shit, but I'm wondering which shit shovel you got complimented on.
Well, I don't have a specific one of these from my own life that comes to mind offhand, but I've seen it done to other people enough where I know the tactic, and I do like the show business thing does remind me of like these poor people who work as PAs. Like I've worked as a PA on some big shows, and I know Mitch has as well. And it's like you tell people about that and they're like, oh, that is so cool. And like I do have some cool stories from these, but then also it's like, yeah, a lot of it was like standing around like waiting to hand somebody a cup of coffee for 6 hours in the rain. Like it's
that is Nathan's worst nightmare in more than one way.
That is my worst nightmare because the smell of coffee makes me want to throw up. I had somebody give me a hug the other day and they had a swill of coffee in their mouth. They were like, they had just taken a swig of coffee and they were still in the swallowing process of the swig when they came in for the embrace. And I swear to you, as I was walking away, I had to suppress the gag, so I was like literally looking for a trash can because I thought that's how much I dislike coffee. How do we get here?
I don't know.
I'm just imagining the wonderful smell of fresh roasted beans or coffee, and I can't imagine what's the smell that gets you up in the morning, because coffee's a pretty good way to wake up.
Yeah.
You know, Mitch, before you and I were roommates, I actually was an early riser. I was up at 5:30 every day forever. But then when you and I were roommates and you would get up and have that morning coffee, I was like, I got to change my lifestyle. I'm now going to have to be one of those guys who sleeps until noon just so I can avoid the coffee. And my whole life has come off the rails since because of that.
I got to be a hermit now, goddammit.
Did I have a coffee maker in the room freshman year? I don't think I did, right?
No. It was when the Ranch Triangle apartment.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
you first had the coffee.
You actually kept it on Nathan's nightstand, which is so weird.
Yeah.
It's I like to inflict pain. That's what it is. No.
Mitch, you made me sad about reliving my volleyball years, but yours was so good that you're getting 3 points.
Thank you.
Nathan, same with you. We've all shoveled shit. We've been there. 3 points. Mitch, on to you for your number 2.
Yeah, this one, you guys know I love to name my top 5 list. So I'm keeping the naming going. And this one I'm calling a true snowflake. This is someone who is one of one, and that comes out in the backhanded compliment where someone tells you, "Oh, only you could pull that off." Only you would make that choice.
Oh, yeah.
Only you would say that and get away with it. And then you're like, what? Wait, what have I been doing that has now created this?
You must have been wearing a cardigan and Nantucket red shorts. What else could you have been wearing?
Yes, I do remember at the DePaul Film Awards one year, I had like a nautical striped polo shirt, Nantucket red shorts, and a blazer on. And I remember distinctly someone came up and said, "Only you would wear this to this event tonight."
I mean,
I remember thinking, "Oh, thank you. I think that's a thank you. I don't know.
Thank you.
I appreciate that." So this is, I mean, as someone who used to claim it wasn't for attention, but I'm sure it was for attention, dressing like an insane person in college. Everyone's trying on new personalities every other day, in college. That's what you do, right? Right, guys?
No, but okay.
That's what you do? Oh, okay.
Sure. I missed that memo. I didn't do college right, so
a lot of silence over there.
Commuter student.
I just tried to develop a personality. I just tried to get one down. Mitch was able to go through 7 or 8 a month. I couldn't get to one.
Commuter students have one personality. Oh, you're the weird guy that's thinking on the train at night. Yep, that's me.
Oh, you've got the enormous backpack with everything.
That's true. That is so true.
I remember when I first met you, Brian. Your backpack was like twice as wide as from a profile. I was like, "There's Brian. Let's say you're a foot wide. Your backpack would be 2 feet wide. It was enormous."
Yeah, I was a third of what I was carrying always.
But so this is. I thankfully socially don't really give a flop. So like this didn't hurt me too much because I would just wear it as a badge of honor and be like, yeah, I'm the only person insane enough to wear a teal yachting sweater that I clearly haven't earned. I haven't been on a rig.
Just you saying what you're wearing, it just tickles my fancy.
I didn't know yachting sweater was a garment.
What?
I would have
or
never.
Even a category of garment.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know that boat shoes exist. So yeah, I know boat shoes are a thing, but not yachting sweater.
Yes, a yachting sweater is a thick cable net sweater. Sweater.
Sweeter.
I can't talk all of a sudden. That you wear when you're on deck to keep you warm and dry, from the wind, from the cold, and then it's wool. Hopefully, if you get a little wet, it dries easily and it doesn't make you too cold. So that is a perfect yachting sweater. And I've barely been on yachts, and I know that. So
barely been on yachts. Oh, what a life you've lived, sir.
I've been on one yacht. So yeah. So this is that's my number 2. I haven't had anyone say this to me recently, which I think is maybe a good thing, or maybe I'm losing my fire. I don't know. Maybe need to
maybe it's because we've been socially isolated for the last 18 months or so.
Well, I've got. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh my god. Shit, you're right. Yeah. Oh my god, that's why I'm so bored. Okay.
You can't peacock your yachting attire.
That's right. That's my number 2. Thank you very much. I lay that at your feet for full 3 points. Appreciate it.
Nathan, top yachting attire. Jesus, number 2.
Well, mine's in a similar vein of Mitch's was like, only you could do that. Mine is actually, I could never do that. So this is like, you got a family. They got 2 new kids, and they decide that like the mom has been out of work because she gave birth, and then they give birth, and then she's like, hey, I just got this great career opportunity. I'm going back to work. And I'm going to take this job, and it's in the field I've always dreamed of, whatever. And then their friend says to them, or acquaintance, or whoever it may be, says, oh, congratulations. I could never do that because of having the kid at home. Like,
lay it on
just
thick.
like put your kid in daycare or not be there for all of these. But I could never do that. Or like, oh, hey, I got a job and it's overseas and, you know, whatever. And, oh, that's great. You're going to have so much fun. It's going to be a great adventure. I could never do that because my parents are getting a little older and it's important that I be here for them. Subtext being, you are neglecting everybody important in your life by taking this opportunity that's good for you. That's the gist of it. It applies in many situations. I could never do that, but good for you for doing it. But I couldn't do it because I'm slightly better than you in many important facets.
I would love to go to London, but I personally could never do that because I don't want to leave my city, you know, that needs my help. So I'm going to stay right here in Chicago.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You couldn't do it. This is the appropriate response. Is if somebody gives you the I could never do that backhanded compliment, that's just like, yep, you're right. You couldn't.
Yep.
Just turn the tables on them. Just get the momentum back on your side. You're right, Mitch. You couldn't cut it in London. It's too big a town for you, kid.
I think you got to throw some more stank on you. You could never do it.
Yeah, you could never do it, but luckily there's people like me.
I would love to be a party to that conversation. I don't want to be involved in it, but a party too, where it's just like, luckily there's a guy like me that can do it. Ooh.
Or you could go real understated with it. Like, oh, I could never do that. And be like, oh, well, yeah, you're right. You couldn't do that. I never thought about that. You couldn't.
That I like.
There's just no way. It's literally inconceivable that you could do this thing I'm about to do. It's just not happening. Yeah.
All right, Nathan, I love how much you're tearing this person down. You're getting 3 points. I love it. Mitch, you used the word yachting attire. I mean, it can't give you 3 points. You're getting 2 for that. But you better save it with your number 1 here.
My number 1 is one of my least favorite moves ever, and I'm calling this the sudden moron. And it's when someone says, again, it's an easy task, but it's a thankless task, but it's a task that must get done. And then someone will say, oh, you should do it. If I did it, I would only screw it up. I would only screw it up. You know, you need to do this. You should do it. No. I don't even want to try because I would absolutely screw it up. Well, because I don't wipe down counters that much. Or like, how would I couldn't approach it. Couldn't even think about trying to do it. You've already done it. You are clearly, you're amazing at it. You are so good. You keep doing it. What? I could not possibly send an email to communicate to the rest of the team the next step of the project. No. Well, you know why? Well, I'm terrible with words. Yeah, you were so much better. You're a much better writer.
Aren't you the VP at communications? How are you bad with words?
Well, you know what? I'm more of, I'm the ideas I'm the leader in spirit here.
Got
I'm not,
right.
God, I've got sausage fingers. Cannot even touch a keyboard without making a bunch of mistakes. You better do this. You better do this. That's my least favorite fucking thing. It happens. It doesn't happen with me as much, but I know that there's those stupid fucking gendered tasks out there that you always see men doing this to women. You're just like, dude, go fuck off. Like, go lock yourself inside of a box and somehow push yourself into the Grand Canyon. And I hope you die before you hit the bottom. You piece of shit. But.
You are a dog shit man.
Yeah. Oh, box of dog shit falling in the Grand Canyon. Oh.
Die before you hit the bottom, you dog shit man.
So yeah, that's like one of my least favorite things. And people who think that's like an actual reason piss me off so much. And then when someone's like, they didn't even try, like they weren't part of this, and then they're like, what are you talking about? But they're so much better at it. You're like, no, it's just a simple thing. It's got to get done. Someone's got to do it. Gets my goat.
Oh,
gets
man.
my goat.
Mitch is fired up. His cheeks are matching his hair. He's there.
Fully fired.
One of the great scams men have perpetrated on the world over the millennia is this idea of some things being women's work. It's like, all right, what are we going to make the women do? How about literally everything we just don't want to do? We say that's what women are. Yeah. I look around my house and all the things that I don't want to do are the things that are like the old stereotypical 1950s housewife type thing.
Well, and also, let's be honest, like, women just did everything. Men went to the office and, like, got drunk and then would talk to their buddies at lunch and be like, so, do you just sell me some of that steel? Okay, yeah, all right, cool, let's have more martinis, and like, that was it. And then
I had a liquid lunch today. How do you expect me to throw in a load of laundry, all right? I would just mess it up. All right. I'd probably put in too much soap and they'd be too clean. We can't wear things that are too clean. All right. I think you should do it because I personally would just, too much soap, right?
Yeah.
This is also where the myth that like moms can find things better than anybody else, like it's like there's no distinction on who has that ability more. It's just like in that family patriarchal setup, it was like, well, mom was doing everything all day, so of course she knew where everything was. Yeah. Like, yep. Of course she saw your little action figure under the couch because she was picking up dog shit there that you pretended you didn't see. And
you didn't see the dog shit.
Anyways, thanks to my mom for finding literally everything for my entire childhood. You're the best mom.
Well, I mean, and Nathan, you're a terrible searcher. I mean, you shouldn't even try to look for things. Your mom's better at it. So yeah.
Nathan would just mess it up. He'd make sure it's more hidden.
I would end up putting it in the trash can accidentally. So it's better if you just go look for it. Just.
Well, guys, we fixed gender roles. So there's just another checkbox of the things that we solved on the show.
It was always going to take 3 white guys in their 30s to solve
with
gender
absolutely
roles.
No women present to have their say. Yeah. Man, we are just
That's who everybody's been waiting for.
We completed today's checklist. Reference Entourage. Make each other laugh. Fix gender roles. So we did it. We did it all.
All right. What massive problem are you going to solve in your number 1, Nathan? You got to top fixing gender roles.
Well, I got a real bone to pick here on this one.
Oh,
my number one. An
angry white guy. Watch out!
Yeah. Participation trophies.
Oh.
Now, first of all, before we get to why they're a backhanded compliment, I want to clear something up. People in the generation before us complain about how our generation got participation trophies as if they weren't the ones giving them to us. Not one kid ever asked for a participation trophy. Never. Not once. 0. And also, what an insult to the intelligence of children that they didn't realize, oh, Jesus, a fucking participation trophy, really? Like, did you see those on the mantelpiece? Like, it was literally like you would come last place in something. Well, here's the thing that everybody else got. And you're like, oh, God, and because there's still somebody walking away with a first place trophy. So you're just, it's like, hey, here's a little trinket that you're going to like try to awkwardly think about when's the appropriate time to throw this away now. Like, that's all it is.
Ma, what kind of dog shit trophy is this you gave me? It's not a first, second, or third place. What the hell is this?
Yeah, it was. I hated whenever I got a participation trophy. It's like, here's a physical reminder of the fact that you suck. Here's just in case you don't think about it enough and it's not causing you enough insecurity amongst your peers. Every time you look at this, you'll think about the fact that you are inadequate at whatever game or sport this is. Or music or what it may be.
Think about how uniquely American it is, too, that instead of just having an empty space on your shelf to remind you of your failure, no. We have to manufacture and sell something to give you to take up that empty space to remind you of your failure. Welcome to America.
What a waste of materials and time and labor.
We got that shit from China to make sure you are remembering how much you sucked in 4th grade, you little piece of shit.
Well, my favorite ever participation trophy I saw, I did not receive this. I was present at the event, and a friend of mine, well, 4 friends of mine, it was a track meet in junior high, and it was a relay. It was all relays.
Okay.
There were 8 schools invited. Every race was a relay. And the first group went up. I don't remember what relay it was, but they ran the relay or whatever. And the team from my school got 8th place out of 8. And then afterwards, somebody was like, "Oh, wait, you guys are missing your ribbons. Your ribbons." It's like, what? Like, blue ribbon first and on down the line. And they came back. And I was like, "Did you really get a ribbon?" And my friend pulls the ribbon out of his pocket, holds it up. And he says, "Yeah. Here it is. We got the crap brown 8th place ribbon." They literally gave them brown ribbons for last place. Put that on the mantelpiece, your crap brown ribbon.
Oh,
God.
that's horrible.
That is the best. That's why it's my number 1, is that the crap brown ribbon, the ultimate backhanded compliment.
The Trophy Manufacturers Association must have been so strong in the late 80s and 90s. They're like, "Hey guys, league commissioners, let's get some more trophies out of here." But but Big Boy needs to make some more money here. And they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's give a trophy to every single damn kid out here."
I mean, I believe that's the TMAA. You don't subscribe to the Trophy Manufacturers Association of America. I mean, they got a catalog that runs. It's thicker than a U-line category. Okay, this thing is cool. This anything you could possibly get. You can get a bowler on top of a little turtle. You can do whatever you need. They got everything in this freaking magazine. We used to have to go and get these from a place called Hildebrands. There's a sporting goods store that we'd have to go pick up our branded like gym uniforms from for like grade school, but they also sold trophies and manufactured all that stuff in the store. So I remember just being like, every time we walked in there every year to get a new gym uniform, I'm like, I just always wanted to buy myself the weirdest trophy I could find. I've never done that yet, but I will before I'm dead. I promise I will find a weird trophy.
There's nothing worse than you go to a basketball tournament, AU. You're not the champions. You're the consolation champions.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah. You lost 1 game, so you went to the losers bracket, but you won that. You're a champion. It says on the first place consolation bracket.
One of the funniest things I ever heard is somebody say, "Oh, yeah, I was second runner-up in a beauty contest." And the person next to her, another woman, said, "You came in third." And I was like, I've never heard anything more true than that statement.
I've definitely been a consolation bracket warrior over the years. Yeah. That definitely happened. And it was always one of those things though where you're like, well, we spent the money to play here, and we're here, and we're wearing the right shoes, so I guess we're gonna stick around.
Wearing the right shoes.
Well, we always called the consolation championship the toilet bowl.
Oh, the toilet bowl is nice.
Smart.
Yeah,
smart.
That's good.
All right, I gotta score this out. I'm giving you guys both 3 points for this round because you both tickled my fancy. Was there? I think Mitch, you're the only one to give me a backhanded compliment, so I think you get the 2 points.
Yeah. I thought of one and I was ashamed of it because it was too mean, so I'm not going to say it.
All right. I want to hear it off mic, though, so make sure you remember it. I tried giving my best. Nathan, you got 3 points for every category today. I tried making you the winner. You got 15, but Mitch, with your 2 bonus points, you also came out to 15, so it's a tie. So sorry, your birthday you're not a winner. You are a second loser. All right. So
all right. What I was gonna say was that you look like your favorite Hollywood celebrity, Kevin Smith, but before he had the heart
attack. You went there, and I love it. So there you go. 2 points. You win 17 to whatever. Oh, God damn. That was good. Well, I guess we can't leave without my fast five. All right. Top 5 worst places for your car to break down. Number 5, Bethany, Indiana. 0.09 square miles and a population of 81. There is no way anything good happens in less than a square mile. Number 4, French Lick, Indiana. It's got a casino and is the hometown of Larry Bird. I have no evidence, but this sounds like a bad combo. Also, French Lick. Come on. All right, number 3.
Larry Bird's dad shot himself in French Lick, so.
Let's continue with the comedy. Number 3, Hope, Indiana. Because I'm assuming this place doesn't have any. Hope was the only remaining Moravian church in the state of Indiana, which I learned was a subsection of Czech folks. And there's still many traditional Moravian practices that are also preserved, such as the display of the putts during Christmas time celebrations. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to look it up further because I want to know what the celebration of the putts is in Hope, Indiana. Number 2, Churubusco, Indiana, also known as Turtletown, USA, which I only assume to mean that turtles outnumber humans 6-1. All right. Number 1, Muncie, Indiana. It's nearly a 4-hour drive from here, and yet they have the nerve to call it Little Chicago. I know this was the basis for Pawnee, but it was founded by dudes called the Ball Brothers. And I read a fact that John Dillinger stopped here once, and he didn't even rob anything. So how good could it be? That's this week's edition of Uber Cinco. From the deep recesses of his psyche, where there's now only dog treat recipes, has been
Mitch Brinkman.
And the multi-stroke Warren County meat beater has been
Nathan Hennenfent.
And I've been your big wet boy, Brian Ernst. That, as BizBear always says, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do to evade taxes. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.
Oh, God.
Oh, that one turned out pretty good, I thought. That turned out pretty good.